Hello, and we are back at Viking Park, ready for second grade action here in the Griffin Legal John O'Dent Cup. Ryan Murphy here again for Brumbies Rugby, and I'm joined again, Eamon. Why Eamon Moore? Eamon, we've already had some great action here in Colts, and it's the rematch. It's the higher grade, but it's a rematch. Queanbeyan taking on Tuggeranong Vikings, all set for another great game of football.
Absolutely. Two very good teams all throughout the year. Yeah, so it's good to see a consistency for those strong clubs across the board. But, yeah, hopefully we'll see a bit of a different result rather than a runaway win.
Well, yeah, it has to be said that Queanbeyan in this grade have been the standout performers all year, systematically beating down teams, but this Vikings side, plenty of quality, and they reached this final with an absolute barn-burning win against Royals. That was, of course, after the buzzer last week, a try after the 80th minute, and they reached this final in stunning fashion, but Queanbeyan did the same to them in the major semi-final, winning after the death with a brilliant try, as I remember, and it's just set up for a grandstand game here. Vikings with a massive tunnel, welcome on their side, led out by, it's Rhys Griffiths leading the side out there, the big back row. Strong contingent building here now for the Vikings. They're at their home park, they're in all finals, it's a big day for them. This Queanbeyan side, they've been beaten in Colts. This second grade side will want to put one back on the Vikings. Led out by Pumba, Jake Gordon, one of the characters of this competition and a rip-roaring footballer as well. This game, it's so well poised. The two best teams in second grade battling it out as they did in 2017. It was Queanbeyan who got the better on that day. We'll see what will happen in second grade today. We'll run you through the teams as we go. Junior Satongi, Tom Carney, Nick Cushion in the front row for the Vikings. Sam Allen, Cooper Teketa in the locks. Rhys Griffith, Damien Gruber, Richard Joyce. And it's Jack Howard who gets us underway. He'll partner Blake Henman in the halfbacks. Max Ravuvu on one wing, Nick Murray on the other. Izzy Titor and Trey Henderson in the centres. Dean Wilson for the Vikings. As we see, it's Jordan Cremarius getting the Queanbeyan Whites underway. It's Riley Ahern from fullback. Watch him kick all day. It's Ravuvu. He takes well, and Vikings are on the counter attack immediately. Cam Stanley with the big hit, and they're forcing them back into the Vikings half. Good start defensively for Queanbeyan. Henman moves the ball. It's a really strong carry there from Richard Joyce. Henman looks for a little bit of space off the base, but it's just been overcooked, and that's a really frantic start here, Eamon. Both sides coming out with plenty of intent.
Plenty of fast-paced footy. Looks like install. Yeah, it looks like a good fast start from both sides.
Queanbeyan win well at the line out, bit messy, but they go forward through Lewis Bazzato, and it's a big collision there in midfield. Watch that all day, him and Rhys Griffiths. Key battle there at open side. Ball just doesn't go to hand, but it's a nice little kick in behind. And the rebuttal is excellent as well. Riley Ahern having to make his way back and mop up here. Plenty of time. Not the prettiest of efforts, but it's effective, and Blake Henman isolated slightly, but he's got Izzy Titor for support. And he's bowled into touch yet again. That's two efforts so far, Eamon. Absolute frenetic pace here to open up the second grade grand final.
Yeah, a bit of a kicking battle to start, but it looks like a bit of coast-to-coast footy to be played.
It was Daniel Naif who got up well there at 6. Of course, captaining the side. Beautiful line there from Lonnie Tia. Nathan Exton Good delivery to Tim Woods, carrying hard in the midfield. Exton finds Bizzato and he releases his back line down the left hand side. Good inside ball, and Queanbeyan are in a bit of space here. Beautiful cover tackle from Vikings backhand, but they're still on attack here. That's Josh Townsend carrying hard on the left hand side. They keep it tight through Daniel Nathan. He can't be stopped so far. Taken down just 5 metres short. Cremarius comes onto the ball, hits it at pace, and Queanbeyan are motoring here. It's White. Spins and he's taken down. Queanbeyan looking to strike the first blow in this second grade grand final. Exton finds Townsend and he's met well in midfield by Vikings. They drive him 4 or 5 metres back.
There's Sam Allen involved in that, really damaging player.
Exton shifts the ball left. Good patient build up here by Queanbeyan, looking to strike the first blow in the second grand final. That's Sam Bartholomew's there, getting his first action of the day, the tight end. Gordon. His brother Ben went very well in the Colts final, starting off well himself here. White shifting to the right, he spins again. Still not stopped is White. Still going is White. Defence is good from Vikings, but Queanbeyan holding on to the ball. It's Naif who went close. Gordon inches short now. Exton, he's got numbers to the left and he dives. Sam Bartholomew gets the opening score for the Queanbeyan Whites. Patient build up from the Whites and they finally get the reward. Vikings defence held firm for a long time, but just couldn't hold them out there. Eamon, what a start for the Queanbeyan Whites.
Absolutely, they're flexing a bit of forwards muscle there in the picking and driving over for the try, but it was a great build up. Good teamwork for the Queanbeyan Whites, going across the park, and there's the try there, just parging over there.
Yeah, alert and alive there was Bartholomew's. Got a bit of a gap just around the fringes and he dived over for the opening score. Well, it was frantic for the first couple, but when Queanbeyan had a chance, they broke well and they've kept the ball, taken their opportunities, and that's a fantastic story to get this final going. Riley Ahern. He's been one of the best players in second grade competition all season, has Riley Ahern. Can he add the extras? He's given it some and it's over. Well, 5 minutes in and we have got a game on our hands here, do we, Eamon?
Absolutely. It's up to Vikings now to respond.
As they will. They've got so many weapons, so much experience out there. But this Queanbeyan side, they've got brilliant togetherness. They're a real unit. Tim Woods takes well off the kickoff and Whites are motoring yet again. That's Daniel Naif. What a carry, and Queanbeyan are really firing early here. Gordon collects and gets a good go forward carry. Vikings were all over that ball, but Queanbeyan somehow managed to hold on. Oh, beautiful line! It's a bad pace now. Can he get an offload? No, he can't. What a carry there by Cam Stanley up the right-hand side. Has to be said, Eamon, Queanbeyan are playing with such a beautiful style in this opening exchange.
Absolutely, that's some great ball running there.
But how about that from Tom Carney? The experienced campaigner getting over the ball, and he wins the Vikings a penalty. Look at the Vikings D. They're out in their feet, Eamon. What a start by Queanbeyan. Just a ridiculous pace to the second grade grand final, and Vikings need to just stem the flow a bit here. Queanbeyan are absolutely motoring.
Yep, they've made their intentions known. They're playing fast and hard right up the middle. Great running lines. Vikings got to match that intensity.
Just early, Daniel Naif and Cam Stanley there, the back row pairing, carrying with just real presence and using their footwork, not just going up one-up runners. Love to see that. You see Tom Carney finds Griffiths. It's Izzy Titor in a little bit of space there. Bumps off one. trying to find Nick Murray out on this right-hand side. Advantage coming, so it's a free play for the Vikings. Henman. Oh, so what a tackle from Josh Townsend on his opposite number, Cooper Takeda. Queanbeyan are well up for this one, having watched their Coldies lose in the Colts Grand Final. It's a penalty for the Vikings, and they'll give them an opportunity to pump this ball down to the corner.
Oh, he's put it too long. That's dead.
Well, those are the moments on days like these, Eamon. Looking forward to seeing this first scrum now.
Yeah, Vikings needed that to get back into a bit of scoring contention there. That's a bit of a get-out-of-jail-free card for the Queanbeyan Whites there.
Well, we've started as the season went here, Eamon. There's been 3 meetings previously between these two sides, and well, the Whites have got the better of all 3 of them. The first one, of course, 38-24 in round 4. That was a really strong win for Queanbeyan, but the rest have been pretty competitive. Has to be said, their start here has been absolutely perfect.
Yeah, they've shown that winning form in these first few minutes. Vikings know that they got a lot of... Oh, that's a great scrum. They're moving forward there.
And they get the reward. Advantage coming. Josh White. Nice little ball to Anthony Pizzato on the left wing. Coming off his left wing into space, but it's a turnover. No advantage coming from the scrum penalty, and they'll have a chance to bump this into the Vikings half. Early statement there from Cremarius, Gordon and Bartholomew's in the front row.
Yeah, it should be a long game for that Viking front row if they're going to be pushed around like that. They really need to dig in and get the whole 8 working together for that one.
See Pizzato and Tim Woods lined out here with the Queanbeyan backline. Queanbeyan's line out runs really well with Josh Townsend. And it's clean ball for White. Finds Pizzato. He'll put it behind. It's Jake Holland making a nice little half gap there. And Riley Ahern cleans up. Exton finds Townsend in a little bit of space. Good line. Advantage coming for Queanbeyan. And it's a penalty for Queanbeyan.
That's a good bit of footwork from the Queanbeyan Whites number 9 there. A bit of old school footy.
Yeah, a bit of rake there. I did wonder, referee was staring at it, but yeah, bit of old school footy. Love to see it. And Riley Ahern points to the sticks. Well, it's almost the exact opposite of the Colts grand final between these two sides. They've swapped home and away, and Riley Ahern now, as Jaden Mackin did in the Colts final, gets a chance to push his side to a 10-0 advantage. How about this start from Queanbeyan?
It's great. And Vikings, they need to realise that they need to just change the tide. They need a couple of big hitting plays, be a line break, good tackles. They really need to stop this momentum from the Queanbeyan Whites because it could carry through to the whole half.
And they've had it at times, it has to be said, but not backed up. And then Queanbeyan, they're taking the shots and just keeping on going. Really impressive start from Queanbeyan. Gee, has he hit that well. Splits the sticks, does Riley Ahern. What a strike. Expect that man to have a very important role to play here today, Eamon. Well, 12 minutes in, it's gone very quick here, Eamon, but just outstanding work from Queanbeyan so far.
Yeah, the momentum's been strong. If they keep that ball in attack, they haven't defended for very long, so keeping those rucks clean.
And the rub of the green, as they say as well, getting all the bounces of the ball, and they attack again.
Well, you make your own luck in finals.
That's it. Daniel Naif cleans up for Queanbeyan. They'll look to exit here through that boot of Ahern. The ball screams as it comes off his foot, and it's Nick Murray to clean up for Vikings. Dean Wilson on the counter-attack, and he's hit hard by Gordon, but he just bounces off. Good strength there from the fullback, Dean Wilson. Henman Finds his half-pack partner, Howard. Junior Satongi, the big man. It's going to take 3 or 4 to get him to slow down, I think, Eamon. The big loose head. Getting over the gain line as Vikings start to get into their patterns. Captain Reese Griffith awaits. Oh, the ball's just knocked on the hand and Jake Harrod is forced to recover. But he's done well. Sam Bartholomew's straight off his feet there, but a judge to cleanly turn this ball over, and it's Queanbeyan ball. Plenty of space at the right if they can find it. Riley Ahern comes hard onto the ball, and it's a good tackle, but White pulling strings at 10 here. Woods not held, so he crawls for another 3 or 4. Queanbeyan playing with lovely width here, and that's Daniel Naif again. He's carried well so far. Gordon shows to pass, but just elects to go himself, and this is Tom Carney over the ball again. Second one of the day for the Vikings hooker. Timely turnover there from the experienced rake there.
Just like his first turnover there, really at a crucial time. Defended well for a few phases there, the Vikings, and the turnover really, the cherry for that defense.
Vikings playing a lot of rugby inside their own half. They've got guys that can play the corners well. Electing to hold on to the ball in this first period, with that wind definitely favouring the Queanbeyan Whites. As we see, line of time here, Carney heavily involved so far. That's a great pill with the wind blowing. Henman finds Howard. Howard gets it out to Titor.
Yeah, the offload just not going to hand there. It was good back play by the Vikings, but the Queanbeyan Whites defence in the backs looking particularly stout.
Queanbeyan's defence, as it was in Colts, it's a gold club effort. Really strong. Tim Woods carries again. It's a real team effort so far from Queanbeyan. Everyone getting their hands on the ball. Ahern shapes for a bit of space there, but not his best of the day so far, and Dean Wilson can counter-attack. Puts on a bit of footwork, and he's found Nick Murray. What a pill. Murray turns on the gas. Bit of footwork, needs support, does Murray. Good offload. That's open play, so Cremarius can go. But he's just knocked the ball on. Sam Allen, the bruising lock, takes it on, but nothing comes of it, and it'll be a Viking scrum. What a ball from Dean Wilson on the counter-attack to Nick Murray down that right-hand side.
Yeah, that little play off the hip, so dangerous down those tram tracks areas. So just really smart footy and great pace by that winger.
Yeah, it was Nick Murray down that right-hand flank and definitely turned on the gas as he got into a bit of space. First Viking scrum of the day. Saw in the first hit out from the front rows. It was definitely Queanbeyan that got the advantage. Sam Bartholomew's getting through plenty of work. Look to see a lot of the pressure coming through that loose head side. Jake Gordon, I should say, working with Cremarius on the left-hand side of that scrum. Former Brumbies under-20 player Nick Cushion packing down at loose head here for Vikings. Junior Satongi going at tight head. Sam Allen, Cooper Takeda in the locks. Reese Griffith, Damien Gubler and Richard Joyce are the back row. Henman and Howard are the halfback. We'll get a reset here. Just interesting to see Vikings using their whole back line through half of the field here. Better scrum for the Vikings. They even get a bit of pressure on themselves. Trey Henderson comes back on the switch, and he's all alone here as Henderson, but he's able to hold his feet and wait for support. Henman couldn't find Titor as he was coming around at pace. Satongi, the usual 2 or 3 to take him down. Henman, good delivery to Titor. Finds a little inside ball to Takeda. Just a little bit of miscommunication as Wilson goes down the right-hand side. Vikings starting to get into their own player here. Cushion on his own, but it's good support from Vikings. They're lining up now through Tom Kearney. He's got Takeda for support. It's a great tackle from Queanbeyan, and it's a turnover. How about that from Jake Holland, and he's ripped the ball clean from the Vikings, and Hearn under a bit of pressure puts the high ball up, and it's Wilson to take for Vikings. Good kick chase and a great tackle on the left-hand wing there by Anthony Bazzata. Takeda, it's his third carry in a couple of phases, getting through plenty of work is the young man. Henman, he's got bags of space here if they can find it, the Vikings. Henderson finds Tidor, puts on a bit of footwork, and he's held on by Tim Woods. And it's clean again from Jake Holland. Correct option there from Exton, and the ball bed to the ball. Wilson under bags of pressure here. Oh, he's just slipped out. How well has he done, has Wilson? And he's still going, is Wilson. Gee, the Vikings fullback's done so well there, and he's earned himself a penalty. Superb from the Vikings.
That was excellent numbers on the wings there in Queanbeyan in defence, getting that turnover there. Really read the wide passing there from the Vikings.
Jake Holland there in twice succession, Eamon. Key turnovers. As we saw, it was Jeremy Taylor there racing up for Queanbeyan, but he just couldn't hang on to Dean Wilson, and Vikings somehow get out of danger there. 10-0 after 20 minutes. Superb game of rugby so far in the second grade final. Queanbeyan had all the ball in the first 10, but Vikings certainly coming back into it now. Sam Allen takes well at the back. Great ball from Carney at the line out again. Henderson. Oh, and his pass just doesn't go to hand to Trey Henderson, and it's a sloppy mistake from the Vikings, and they'll be right back under the cosh now. Queanbeyan, a strong set piece with territory. What do you think of the option to be playing a lot of rugby here, the Vikings, out of their own half?
I think it's a smart play. Queanbeyan has that return, that open play attack that makes them quite dangerous. So keeping that option unavailable for them is smart, I think. And, you can't score without the ball in hand, so I don't mind running rugby.
Against the wind, of course, as well.
Yeah, smart play not to be kicking against that wind, which is howling today.
Queanbeyan stacked up to the right. Conventional shape with Bazzata just lurking here on the left-hand side of his 10, Josh White. It's a good scrum from Vikings. White finds Holland, takes the ball to the line. Late little pass, but it's just too late. And Tia can't hold on. I like the option for Holland to just delay that pass, but doesn't go to hand.
Yeah, so only a bit of, if he held that pass, it could have been quite a dangerous play. So you're exposing a bit of a lapse in the back's defence there for Vikings.
Yeah, he was certainly in a lot of space there, Eamon. But maybe just didn't give the ball early enough, and Vikings get another chance to clear their lines. Has to be said, since that first scrum, Cushion and Satongi have really righted the ship there up front.
Yeah, well, sometimes it just takes one to know what kind of party you're at, and then you
got to get the lay of the land and see what the vibe's like. Couldn't agree more. Vikings, we've got Henderson and Ravuvu here on the left-hand side. Perhaps 2-on-2, I'd back them down this left-hand side, but look for them to clear lines, perhaps with Howard down this right-hand flank.
Yeah, we're kicking with the right foot. It might be a good idea to find the far right corner. Plenty of chase from that winger, Nick Murray.
Nick Murray down the right-hand side. Plenty of pace, as we've already seen in this first half. Oh, it's a great shot from Sam Bartholomew's, but the ball's just spilled out. Vikings get away with one there, and they're cleaned up well with Blake Henman. No 9 now, so Harrod slips into halfback. Bit of a discussion who's going to take this on. It's Harrod just to boot down the field. Bit of a nothing option there. But Ahern, the ball doesn't go to deck, and will that be a penalty? It will. Oh, Tia just couldn't help himself, and the ball was there and offside. Eamon, that's a big result for the Vikings, having been under a lot of pressure.
Absolutely, a good kick here will put them in great position, but that's just a silly mistake you can't be making in this kind of game.
Yeah, it's one we see a lot in the game of rugby, just that ball sitting there, and just couldn't help himself, as we said. And now Vikings, nearly 23 minutes in, yet to score, but have perfect opportunity here at the platform. Carney, and it's Townsend up ahead of Goober. Well done by Townsend there at the back of the line to steal. And Queanbeyan through White and Ahern have another chance to clear their lines and keep Vikings scoreless. Under plenty of pressure is White, but he gets a good touch finder, and that's really good work, particularly from Townsend, getting hard up there at the back of that line out. It was a really good read and a great steal.
Yeah, you need to put plenty of pressure on in those situations, and that's obviously showing the great desperation by the Queanbeyan pack there.
Gutsy as well in your own 22 to have a real crack at the ball. A lot of teams might stay down, perhaps looking for a maul there. So again, Townsend's up well to disrupt, but this time Vikings do hold on to possession. Cushion, he's on his own, but it's a good strong carry. Now Vikings still with slow ball, chance to attack. They find Titor, and he finds a nice little pass to Ravuvu. Ravuvu beats one, beats two, but he's finally brought down. Vikings on the front foot now through Richard Joyce, but that ball is bobbled, and now it's forward. Queanbeyan steal. Absolutely no one home yet for Vikings. Wilson starting to get into position. Ahern will have to keep this one in play. Wilson alive to it. If he can find it, there's bags of space down the right hand flank, and he does. Beautiful option and a great execution from the fullback there, putting the pressure right back on Queanbeyan.
Good to identify that the winger was up chasing there and that there was plenty of space in behind.
Yeah, that's quality from Wilson. Just took the opportunity to take a look, put the ball perfectly in space. You just see Josh Townsend getting a bit of treatment there. If there's a player right now that Queanbeyan won't want to lose this early, it will be Townsend. Very crucial to all aspects of Queanbeyan's game. Particularly that line out. Operates so well at set piece time, does Townsend. What's your first impressions as we see 25 minutes in, 10 minutes to go in this half, Eamon? What have you liked from Queanbeyan so far?
Well, I think they're playing very positively. They're playing very well in supporting each other at the run with their running, and you can see that in support lines. They're getting those offloads away. Very little turnover ball. Well, that shows you they're running in numbers, which is very good to see, and could pay off later in the game if Vikings, get a bit lazy around defence or the rucks.
Absolutely, and they're getting the rewards on the scoreboard as well. I'd like to thank Griffin Legal, Han Superdry, McDonald's ACT, Heart Sport, Club Lime, Bar TV and Ovo. Great sponsors for this wonderful competition. Second grade grand final, well poised. 10 minutes to go in the first half. Queanbeyan. Messy ball at the back as Josh White is forced to carry. Probably was looking to exit, but he's got a really nice little ball to Cam Stanley. His kick isn't great, but it's bobbled. Ball's in a bit of space. Stanley on the ball now. Motoring down into the Vikings half. Oh, but that is absolutely superb from Izzy Titor. Look at the raps the 13's getting off his teammates. Absolutely incredible from the 13 there, somehow getting back and turning over Pill there. How did he get back there, Eamon?
That was just pure desperation. He knew his team needed to stop right there, and that was just pure guts, getting back there, putting in the effort and stopping that runaway play.
Yeah, and his teammates got right around him, didn't they? Recognising what a huge moment that might be in this game. Cam Stanley, his influence just growing in this game. Such an athlete at number 8 there. Put in a bit of a dodgy kick, has to be said. Didn't quite go the way he had planned it, but it worked out. Found himself in space, and Izzy Titor with Wilson, of course, making the tackle, but could be a huge moment with not long to go in this first half. You think a try there would have pushed it to 15, probably 17 with how Riley Ahern's looked so far. What a moment in this game.
Yeah, that certainly would have been a mountain to climb for the Vikings. But it looks like was their winger Nick Murray hobbling back and Sam Allen the lock.
Yeah, just in
down.
that little exchange there where I think there was a bit of a meeting of the two players, the two of their own players there. Nick Murray got a big bash on his right leg there, and Sam Allen still down.
It'd be a shame to lose Sam Allen. He had a stint in the Brumbies under-20s. He's a quality player. He's made a few little mistakes here so far, but he is a competitor.
He certainly is. It's been a great season so far, second grade. Queanbeyan and Tuggeranong, of course, shared that amazing major semi-final where Queanbeyan won after the death, and it was on the Vikings to take the hard road, and they backed up really well and beat Royals after the buzzer last week to reach this grand final. But so far it's been Queanbeyan's day in this game, and I just like the way they've held composure in a lot of aspects, particularly in defence. That defensive line set, and they're coming up hard and forcing turnovers, as are Vikings though, and they'll resume play here with Howard. Carney, been one of Vikings' best so far, and it's Takeda to take the line out. Henman's pass to Howard is low, but he takes well, and it's Joyce. Very strong carry there from the number 8. Henman, his delivery's been excellent so far. Titor carries hard. Takeda growing in confidence, but he's absolutely whacked by Josh Townsend. Howard looking to spread, but it's Griffiths who takes the pill. Queanbeyan player line all over the ball, and it's penalised by Matthew Hogan, and the right decision there, I think, Eamon.
Yeah, and you can see the aggressive defence by Queanbeyan. Obviously lacking a little bit of discipline there at the ruck, but meeting them quite early on defence there.
And yet again, we're seeing Vikings looking to play out of their own half. I think that wind might be just starting to pick up down on ground, and perhaps thinking if we kick too much here, we might find ourselves back inside our own half and choosing to deeper in our own half and choosing to hang on to the ball, and getting the fruits now through Carney. Griffiths running this line out really well as he finds Sam Allen at the front. Henman finds Nick Murray off his wing. He runs it straight into White, and it's really strong from White. Must release now. Howard finds Titor. He's got Wilson on his left-hand shoulder. Good pill to Wilson and good feet. It's Ravuvu, but he's taken well by Jeremy Taylor down that right-hand side. It's Joyce. He's driving backwards, but he gets an offload to Hemman. Titor in a bit of space now. Good tackle, combined Townsend and Gordon. Trey Henderson takes the pill now. He's in a bit of space, but it's a good tackle from Bartholomew's. Advantage coming from Vikings. They've got numbers here. Satongi, will he pass? I don't think so, but he's near the line now. Sam Allen. 5 metres away now. Hemman gives it to Tatongi. Can he possibly be stopped? He's driven into the touchline by the Whites. Excellent defensive stand by Queanbeyan. Will come back for a penalty for Vikings. Much better from the home side here. Eamon.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of asking a lot of questions, especially the halfback there.
It's Blake Henman there.
Blake Henman really just darting out from the ruck. Getting that defense, sitting back, wondering what's going to happen, and that's giving the opportunities for ball runners to hit a good hole there.
Absolutely. Really pulling strings from 9 there and upping the pace, I think, as well. And they've forced the penalty, and I don't mind the decision here for Vikings to just get some points on the board.
Yeah. And it's good to see the major ball players like Junior Satongi in space there. He can make some good decisions, the big man.
Well, yes, somehow Queanbeyan kept him out in that right-hand corner, but as we said, penalty coming and they'll take the shot. Bit of a gimme for Howard here, just outside the right-hand post. Expect him to slot this comfortably.
Some more points for Queanbeyan before the end of half would be fantastic for their hopes leading into the second half there.
Absolutely. As we see, Vikings get their first points today, and Joyce gets us restarted here. A big tackle from Jake Gordon, but he's taken down safely, so play on. Gruber finds Trey Henderson, and it's a nice little kick from Henderson. Gets a nice bobble on it, and Ahern forced to deal with the ugly kick, and it's sliced from Ahern. Wilson now with plenty of time to counter-attack. He's got Murray and he's got Satongi, but Townsend is up to the task, and he holds on with a great tackle to Keita, to Hemman, and Carney will carry. It's good feed from the hooker. In a bit of space is Carney. Just holds up. Hemman has to go quick. Howard, Titor. Interesting option to go for the chip kick, as we see. It's Cam Stanley bumping off 2 or 3. Still going is Stanley. What a carry. Oh. Well, I tell you what, Eamon, there's a big decision to be made here. We'll watch, we'll listen out for Hogan's call.
Yeah, that was a bit of reckless play there by Ravuvu, so it will be interesting to see what kind of response the referee has here.
Referee's having a chat as we see it on our monitor here. He's been lifted above the 90. Grand final day. I'm expecting yellow, but I would not be surprised if we saw red here. The decision is coming, and he's gone. Red for Max Ravuvu. What a moment in this second grade grand final with 5 minutes to go. Vikings down to 14 for the rest of this game.
Yeah, that's a serious weapon leaving the field right there for the Vikings, so you've got to make it up somewhere with that speed missing.
Has to be said, I thought he was definitely in a bit of trouble. Matthew Hogan and Steve Peake make the call as we see Bartholomew's in a bit of space down the right, and it's Gordon. Stays in touch, and Queanbeyan, can they put the dagger in here just after Vikings go down to 14? Vazzato, strong carry, but it's a little knock on. Great defensive work there from Vikings. Down to 14, but they certainly won't be going anywhere. They'll believe they can win it from here. What a defensive effort there.
Yeah, and they're going to need those some more of those defensive efforts to finish off this game with only 14 men on the pitch.
Well, just look for their leaders to step up now. Often when you lose a player this early, it can galvanise your side, and you can get guys that'll just put that little bit of extra effort in. But it's a tough task now. 7 points down to 14 for most of this game now, Eamon.
Yeah, and there's a full half after this one. There's a lot more footy to be played. Be interesting to see if they keep it in the forwards a bit more, the Vikings. They're lacking a bit of that pace.
You would think so, and I suppose from a Vikings point of view, if you're going to lose a player, as we see Queanbeyan, the power getting turned on at scrub time, and they get the reward. Well, what a statement there from Jordan Cremarius, from Sam Bartholomew's, and Jake Gordon up front. Question is now, with 3 to play, what do they do? Of course they do. They go for another scrum, Eamon. Big moment coming up now. What do Vikings do? With Ravuvu missing on this left wing, what do they do, Eamon?
Well, it's up to your flankers now. They've got to work really hard to shut off the first option off the scrum and compete at the first ruck.
Well,
slow down that ball.
Tell you what, right now, Jeremy Taylor is unmarked on the right-hand side. Absolutely unmarked. No one covering. It seems like it's Dean Wilson who will come across to just have a look, but still in absolute acres of space, asking a lot of Reese Griffith on this blind side to cover. Oh, if they can get a right hand scrum up here through Bartholomew's, that's going to be Cam Stanley and Taylor with acres of space and a few defenders in front of them.
I hope so. It sounds like some exciting footy.
From a Queanbeyan perspective, of course, 10-3, not long to go in this half. A try would certainly set them up for back-to-back premierships in this second half. They get the shove going, but it's popping up. They get that wheel they wanted, but good covering defence from Henman. Oh, and what a read by Nick Murray, and he stripped it as well. Superb from the right winger.
That was Rocky Elsom-esque right there.
Absolutely, mate. Unbelievable from Nick Murray. And now the bounce of the ball. Which way will it go? Taylor recovers well, and it's Nick Murray. Well, we said Vikings had to step up, and they have done. Oh, but it's a penalty for Queanbeyan. Harsh call on the Vikings there, has to be said, but gee, if we could have another look at that. What a tackle from Nick Murray.
Yeah, if you bring that intensity to the ruck like the Vikings just did, you really got to watch your discipline there, because it can cost you like that.
And this one is just going to drift long, I think. He's not going to find touch in that. They'll have the option, Vikings. They can either take it to break or they can play the scrum. Expect them to probably play the scrum here. Time mightn't be up, actually. Our clock at the ground here just trickling down to 30 seconds, so we will have time for this final play. Interesting to see they're bringing Nick Murray out onto this left-hand side as an option, moving right to left here. Smart football there from that Vikings backline.
Well, you need your speed men at the end of your line, so with Ravuvu gone, they're going to have to mix and match with their backline.
Yeah, going to have to get a bit creative for sure. Got to get the set beat right first, though. The Hooter sounds, and this will be the last play of the half. Well, for all of Queanbeyan's dominance early on, it's still only 10-3. So plenty to play for, but of course, the big moment of this game, Max Ravuvu sent off for a dangerous tip tackle, and Vikings a man down for the rest of this game. It'll be legendary stuff if they can win it from here, Eamon.
Yeah, but it's a game worth winning, that's plenty to play for these Vikings, man.
And what a scrum by Vikings, and Henman digs one into touchline. A little bit of a statement there right at the end for Vikes. And that's it. Half time in the Griffin Legal John Iden Cup second grade grand final. It was Queanbeyan who struck first, scoring a really fantastic try. I believe it was through I think it was Cam Stanley who got over. Oh, sorry, it was Sam Bartholomew's who dived over from around the ruck. Really good try with patient build up from Queanbeyan. And it was Riley Ahern who then added the 10 points. Sorry, added the penalty goal to make it 10-0. Josh Howard adding his own 3 10 minutes later to leave the score at halftime 10-3. But just before the stroke of halftime, this game was turned on its head with Max Ravuvu being sent off for a tip tackle. What'll the message be for both sides out there, Eamon?
Well, Queanbeyan, they need to just keep up the pace, keep up the pressure. They need to exploit that man overlap coming into the second half, and with their significant firepower and their vision with the ball in hand, I feel like they can do that if they just stay focused. And Vikings, it's just all systems go. Let's dig in. You've got to fight for this man with the man down. So, Vikings coach will probably give them a good rev up. So I'm excited to see what comes out of this. The Vikings could show plenty of heart, or Queanbeyan could just run away with it.
And how do Vikings get back into this game now? Is it about keeping it tight, or do you just trust your football?
Well, I think you do have to play, within your limitations, knowing that you're the man down and that man who had a lot of pace. So if they can look to be a bit more tough up and down the middle, stay in between the two tram tracks and just play hard and smart down the middle, a few tip passes may help the game turn their way.
Queanbeyan, a man up, 7 points up. Still so much to play for. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back for the second half of the second grade Griffin Legal John I. Dent Cup Grand Final. About to get back underway here in the second grade Grand Final of the Griffin Legal John I. Dent Cup. Before we get underway, another thanks to our naming sponsors, Griffin Legal, Han Superdry, McDonald's ACT, Heart Sport, Club Lime, Bar TV, of course, providing the great stream here today, and OVO. Well, it's 35 minutes away from back-to-back glory here, Eamon. What are your thoughts, mate? Down to 14, can the Vikings do it?
It's going to take a lot, but the scoreline isn't that drastic right now. And if they can start well, the Vikings, there's anything can happen in this match.
And I'm sure that would have been the message from the Vikings coaching staff, that there's still everything to play for, only one score down, if they can just stick to their task. But for Queanbeyan, they've just got to be full of confidence now, having had such a great half of football, and with a man advantage and 7 points to the good. 35 minutes away from a premiership as Riley Hearn gets us underway. And it's perfectly for Tim Woods, the perfect start for Queanbeyan, and he's still motoring his luck. Exton feeds Bazzato and Cam Stanley. Bumps off one, bumps off two. Stanley, one of the best of Queanbeyan in that first half, was a star last year in the Grand Final against Vikings. Another star performance here today. Cremarius, great carry, taken down by Satongi, and it's White. It's a great read, but it's Holland. He burst onto a pace, couldn't cling on. Titor carries up for Vikes. Takeda gets the Vikings rolling through Joys, but it's a superb tackle from Jordan Cremarius. Titor looking for a bit of a mismatch here, and it's Gordon. But Gordon up to the task, and it's a superb tackle again from the Queanbeyan man, but there's a little knock on there. Judged to a big Queanbeyan, so Vikings get a chance to build some pressure now. And another frantic start to this second half, and Queanbeyan looking like the same side that dominated in that first half for much of that 35, has to be said, Eamon.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Vikings look like they might be responding with a bit of it was good, smart interplay and the passing there, capitalising off that Queanbeyan mistake. And that fella was through a hole, I thought, if he held onto that pill.
Yeah, Jake Holland, he came onto the ball at such speed but just couldn't cling on. Great defence from Vikings. So we see the scrum, not all their own way. Queanbeyan probably had the edge of things, earning a few penalties, but we did see just before half-time that the Vikings were starting to get a bit of pressure through Nick Cushion on that loose head side.
And I can't imagine it's Queanbeyan having a weight advantage over the Vikings fellas. It's just a matter of, putting that full focus into those scrums and treating every scrum as important as the last. So
as well, Eamon, that front three of Queanbeyan have played so much football together as well, and they know each other, they know how to scrum together, and it's an underrated factor in scrummaging is building a partnership. Vikings have had some guys come in and out. Nick Cushion, this is only his third game back, I believe, since coming off an injury, so perhaps some familiarity as we see the pressure coming on through Camarius, but Penman is able to just hold up some Queanbeyan defenders. You see Cam Stanley all over the ball now, has to release. He was all over the ball there, but just a little bit late. Great defensive line on Satongi. He's not been given a minute to run all day. Howard spreads wide. Tia. Great read from the Queanbeyan centre, and he's forced the knock on. Vikings perhaps going a little bit wide too early there, Eamon.
Yeah, especially with your man down, you really do need to suck in the numbers there if you're going to give yourself a chance on the outside.
See, it's Richard Joyce just holding his knee a little bit there. He's been active for Vikings. When he's had a chance to run, he's looked really impressive, and Vikings just need more of that. They need to build pressure. Going wide too early there, and has to be said, it was a really good read from Tia at 13 there. His opposite number, Izzy Titor, probably the danger man for Vikings. Right up in his face early.
If you have that man advantage, it gives you that opportunity to take a bit of a risk in rush defense, knowing that you'll have that extra man on your outside. So that's good identification there by Queanbeyan doing that.
Absolutely, and that's going to be probably the tail of this second half. Queanbeyan, a man up, able to take a few risks. They don't want to make too many though. This Vikings team, still stacked full of talent, still very, very dangerous.
Looks like Queanbeyan collapsing that one. Looks like good, solid engagement by both front rowers there.
We just see very smart from Jeremy Taylor, just holding with here on this right hand side, not wanting to give this Vikings defense any favours. Down to a man, down to 14 men. Ahern hovering at the base, hovering behind the scrum, could move either way. If they go right, they've got plenty of advantage here. Griffiths having to stay bound, and he's done really well to hold on to Cam Stanley there. Has the Vikings captain. Lewis Bazzato carrying hard. Exton organising his players and finds Bartholomew's the try scorer. And he gets another little bump off, does Bartholomew's. But there's been a knock on, and Vikings holding firm. Say down to a man, but showing no signs of giving up here. Eamon, plenty of fight out there.
Absolutely, and Queanbeyan needs to get that advantage. You need to utilise that, especially in this area when you have them. You can spread the ball as much as you like. You've got to take that opportunity to utilise that man advantage. But the Vikings doing quite well to keep them out right now. But the easiest way to stop them running and scoring on you is just winning that scrum. You know, get a penalty, get a tight head. You know, you save yourself potentially 7 points.
Just thought that was excellent work from Reece Griffiths off that last scrum. Because of the man advantage, there's so much space out there, and he's been forced to cover 4 or 5 extra meters the blind side there, but he's up to the task, and he did really, really well. Taking down Cam Stanley, who was just receiving a bit of treatment there, the number 8. One of the best on ground in this second grade grand final. Will the pressure come on here again? They've been up to the task at times of Vikings, but when Queanbeyan get it right, they look ferocious at scrum time. That's just a great push from Sam Bartholomew's. Absolutely superb from the tight end, and Queanbeyan have possession. Cam Stanley goes close. Will come back for the penalty. Maybe a slight knock on there. Just stemming the Queanbeyan flows. You see Josh White, one of the real leaders of this Queanbeyan team, coming in to Jake Gordon, saying just to stop the flow a bit, calm things down. And there it is. The scrum is called. Excellent option from Queanbeyan captain Jake Gordon. He'll take the responsibility on with his pack to get the job done here, with a definite advantage at scrum time.
Doesn't seem that any Vikings player is marking that blind side.
Again, it might just be on Griffiths and Henman to cover, should that come. But I agree. Cam Stanley talking to his right winger there. I would just have him. I'd have him march up about 10 metres here, Eamon, and just say, pass the ball to me, I'll score. Don't overthink it. But as it is, not going for it, but the scrum going for it, but they released the ball a little bit early. Jake Holland picks a perfect line. He's inches close. Oh, he's just short. Somehow managed to hold on to the ball, and it's a try. And it's Tim Woods who gets the 5-pointer. Good reward for a great day out so far for him, and it's looking ominous now for the Vikings. What a score. It was that man, Jake Holland, who's been absolutely superb at 12 all day for Queanbeyan. He made the initial burst, just short with the reach out. Somehow managed to hold on to the ball, and yet again, Queanbeyan alive and well, and they dive over for the second try. And there we see.
And that's interesting from Queanbeyan to see how they're playing there. You know, they're looking long, playing short. They have the man overlap, but they're still getting that go forward up the middle.
Well, as we saw in the replay there, just great instincts from Tim Woods to dive over for the score from close range, and Riley Ahern to add the extras. He makes no mistake, and it's 17-3 now. Monumental hill to climb for the Vikings with just 27 minutes to play in this second grade grand final. We've seen before from this Viking side that they can come back late, but down to a man, it's a long way back now. It's taken well by Bizzato, and he carries out hard. They're just outside the 22, so we'll be forced to play a little bit here. Looked like a high tackle there, but no call so far. Ahern back, and he clears. Finds a little bit of space in midfield, and the bounce is cruel to Wilson. He gathers, and he's going to counter-attack now. Some support from Murray. He's taken well in midfield. Vikings slow to retreat. Titor in a bit of space here. Henman elects to go left through to Keita. Howard looks for the little chip in behind. Ball holds up with the bounce, but that's Anthony Bizzato alive to the task.
I don't know if that kind of play is going to get you anywhere for Vikings. I think they need to be a bit more audacious in their attack.
Have to agree as well, Eamon, as Queanbeyan have possession again. And with guys out there who can kick the ball long, it'll be them to clear their lines once again. Riley Ahern, we said he'd have a role to play, and he's been absolutely everywhere. That boot, but this one finds Titor. He's got spaced as the 13. Instead goes inside to Wilson. Scampers around one. A nice kick return there from Wilson. Primarius receiving a bit of treatment for Queanbeyan, but it's a turnover, and Exton, he's found a bit of space. If the bounce is right, it's a perfect bounce, and it's been thrown back in by Vikings, and they're in here, are they? No. Taken down by Vikings. Queanbeyan on the attack. Gordon. Ball doesn't go to hand, but it's play on. It was another timely turnover from Izzy Titor. Absolutely superb again from Titor to somehow get back and turn that ball over. But what was Damien Gobler thinking, Eamon?
Yeah, that was nearly really costly, having to throw that back in there. I think, you just need to be playing that bit smarter. Those crucial decisions there need to be, properly thought about. And then, in the heat of the moment, I suppose it's a bit hard to do that, but, that'll cost you at the end of the day. Yeah,
easy to say from here, of course, what to do and what not to do, but for sure, under bags of pressure there, just threw the ball back into touch with no support whatsoever. Vikings get away with one, and they march back into Queanbeyan's half. Carney, superb at line-out time all day. Good read by Jake Holland, but his hit doesn't stick, and Trey Henderson spins away from 2 or 3. Queanbeyan penalised at the breakdown here, and referee Matthew Hogan going to have a word. Perhaps a final warning there for the Queanbeyan Whites. Been active at the breakdown, but certainly a little bit of discipline issues on the floor there, and Vikings chance to build into this game now. We'll see a change for the Vikings. That's Jamie Field coming onto the park for Vikings. He was absolutely outstanding in the Vikings Premiership winning performance against Queanbeyan earlier today, and he comes on to second grade. Could be a huge impact, the young number 8. Howard has options on Scrubler, and he pops to Field. Field gets a lovely little offload, and Titor is now in space. Is he going to score? Great offload to Nick Murray, and it's a try! Well, that's the score the Vikings needed, and it's the danger man Titor who's glided through the Queanbeyan defence, and somehow, what a pill to Nick Murray, and he provides the finish. Murray excellent all day, and he gets his reward. Game on here at Viking Park.
And we said it could happen at any time. The game could change. Vikings get back into it. If they get this conversion, a converted try locks them up. So,
see Izzy Titor gliding through the fence. And what about that offload to Nick Murray on the inside? Superb.
Credit to Nick Murray's hands there catching that. That was brilliant.
And he held on with a big collision right at the end. What a try. Have to say, immediate impact from Jamie Field coming onto the park.
Yeah, absolutely. Keeping that ball moving, keeping the attack alive is really crucial in the lead up to that try.
Him and Grubler making a little bit of a comeback now. This ball drifts, and it's just gone out the right hand post for Howard. It was a decent strike, but no good, and it's 17-8. 20 minutes to play here. As we said in the Colts final, Eamon, game on. It was always going to be that man Titor. He's been the most active for Vikings all day in that back line. Woods. It's been knocked back by Vikings, so it's play on. But there's been a slight knock on from Queanbeyan. Judged a little bit of handling error there, and we'll come back for a Viking scrum.
That's another poorly fielded kickoff from Vikings. I think they need to keep more eyes on the ball.
They were always going to have a purple patch, the Vikings. Quality outfit, and despite being down to 14, they look dangerous, and if they can get Titor in space as they did before, he can go all day. They've got pace in Wilson and Murray to support. Big scrum from Queanbeyan, and they force the turnover and they get the penalty. Well, when they get it right, Eamon, they're so hard to stop, that Queanbeyan front row, and Vikings just creaking.
Yeah, and getting the penalty off the opposition feed, that's fantastic for your hopes into the second half there. Shows their dominance all day.
Particularly in the modern, with the striking and stuff on the opposition ball, you've got to be really dominant to get that motoring so quickly, and credit to them, they're a really strong outfit. And they're making it count. Grand final day, when it counts. This is crucial now. First job is on Gordon. Can he find his man? And then we've seen Queanbeyan motor. It's Townsend, the reliable man. They get them all going. Can the Vikings hold them out here? Is the ball still alive? It's not. It's been turned over by Sam Allen. Superb from the lock. Somehow turning that ball over in the maul. He's a mountain of a man, Eamon, and he just swam through and ripped that ball back. Superb from Sam Allen.
Yeah, it takes some real strength to do that in a really well-formed wall by Queanbeyan.
Absolutely, and they don't get much of a reprieve here, do the Vikings? Still well and truly in defensive mode, but that was excellent from Sam Allen. They go to the back this time through Woods.
Great take there.
Great take. They won't be able to set up the maul though. It's slightly messy. White receives the pass from Exton and he puts a little bit of footwork on. Good leg drive from White. Gets over the gain line. Townsend drifts around the corner. Good line speed from Vikings, but it's a good carry as well from Townsend. This is where Queanbeyan need to make their numbers count. Nath on his own, but it's supported well in the end. Pizzato comes around the corner, gets over the gain line, and he's still going. Nick Murray tried to rip the ball, just couldn't. Bartholomew's, he's stopped in his tracks by Gobler. Ahern steps into first receiver, and he'll take it on himself as well. Going up in one-up runners, but just sucking in defenders are Queanbeyan. Holland steps, taken easily by the Vikings defence. Queanbeyan. Woods carries well, beats one. Exton finds Gordon. Will he get his name on the score sheet? Exton, nice little inside ball to Stanley, but it's Jamie Field who's alive to the ball. Cushion finishes the job off. He'll have to roll away though. Slow ball for Queanbeyan. Finds Nath. Runs into a big Trey Henderson and Griffiths. Vikings defence is well organised. Cam Stanley slips through one. Spins. Vikings calling them out so well here. Have they forced a turnover? They have. Vikings with the ball. Another superb defensive stand from the Tuggeranong Vikings. Howard gets the kick away and they live to fight another day, Eamon.
That's some courageous defence right there.
Josh Townsend in a world of hurt over there, the second row. His day surely is done as we see a few bodies strewn all over the place. Cam Stanley receiving a bit of treatment. Josh Townsend in a world of hurt down there. Players putting their bodies on the line for the premiership. As we see Sam Thomas come on at prop for Vikings, joined by, that's Billy Carberry, the man of the match in the Colts grand final. Well, he was outstanding for the Vikings and Colts, and he'll go now at second grade. Josh Townsend comes off the park after putting in an epic shift for his side. Just has to come off now. He'll be replaced by 21, Ryan Jones. Ryan Jones played a lot of first grade football this year. What a replacement to bring on at this stage of the game. Jones, in fact, serves as a captain for quite a bit for Queanbeyan. What an asset to bring on a leader of that quality, Eamon, with the game in the balance as it is.
Absolutely, and sometimes, even if you're up, you do need a bit of leadership, just to, a steady hand at the helm, guiding through to the win.
It's well taken by Nath, and they'll try to get this maul going, but that ball is held up really well by Vikings. It does make its way to the back. Queanbeyan still with possession. Vikings doing absolutely everything they can to stop them. Ball gets bumped behind Bartholomew's to White. Little chink in a step. And that's Bazzato coming off his left wing, but he's met really well by Billy Carberry. The young man stepping up to second grade, showing why he won man of the match in the Colts Grand Final. It was a win in that one. Will it be a win for Vikings in second grade? Great line by Jake Holland. He's isolated here. Gobler on the ball. Just can't, and he's come straight off his feet field. And what a read by Nick Murray. Frantic stuff here at Viking Park. Queanbeyan just need to find some shape here. They've got the numbers. They've got the lead. Can they kill this game off here? It's Exton. Sniping, swerving. It goes to. And it's held up. What defense from Vikings. Just holding out. I think it was Josh White there on the right-hand side.
The Queanbeyan fellas looking very pleased with themselves, how they're playing so far. I think they know with their tails up here, they could be very dangerous for the Vikings.
Well, it's 17-8 as we see Cam Stanley. He's been the best on ground for Queanbeyan in this grand final. He has given absolutely everything, body and all, for this cause. Comes off the park, replaced by, I think it was 22 there, Tom Darmody. He'll slip into number 8. Oh, the tension's building here now, Eamon. You can just sense if Vikings can hold them out and get up the other end of the field, they still have something to give in this game, but Queanbeyan, 5 points might just do it.
Well, it starts here. If you're going to come back and win this one, this is a very crucial moment. Crowd is getting behind them now. Pressure's on for this big scrum.
Pressure building. If it's kept in, it'll surely be a try. Queanbeyan motoring towards the line, but just goes to deck there, and referee Matthew Hogan says we'll have a reset. So we see number 20, Puahomi, coming onto the park for Vikings. He'll replace Sam Allen. Sam Allen, much like Queanbeyan's Cam Stanley, he's given everything to the Viking cause today. He was actually hurt a little bit earlier, and somehow he's dug in and given all he can for this game, but finally comes off the park and replaced by number 19, by number 20 I should say, Puahomi. $13 to go. Queanbeyan with the dominant scrum on the 5 metre. They're rolling. Is this the one? Hogan has his arm out. Darmody for the line! And it's a try! Well, he's only been on the park for 1 minute. His first touch of the game, and it's a try. Is it the try that will seal back-to-back premierships for Queanbeyan? Vikings getting around each other. They know they've got a mountain to climb, as we see. Just the perfect scrum, and Darmody picks his opportunity, bumps through Howard, and he dots over. Well, it has to be said, how good is it? He was alive and well to the task, having just come onto the park, kept his composure and chose the exact moment to pick and go, and he dots over.
Yeah, and you think, Jack Howard would put more effort into that one, but, there's a lot of it leaves a big mountain to climb now for the Vikings, and that's off a great scrum and a good decision to run off the back of that.
Well, we talked about it inside the first 5 minutes, Eamon, that this scrum of Queanbeyan might be the telling factor, and it certainly is as we move towards the final 10 minutes. Riley Ahern, and as he has done all day, he makes no mistake. Perfect from the tee is Riley Ahern. What do you do now, Eamon? You got to throw everything at the kitchen. Got to throw the kitchen sink at Queanbeyan now, as you see Sam Thomas coming off the park hurt, having just come onto the field himself. Tom Carney having to come back on. He was excellent for Vikings when he was on the park. Is that man advantage just starting to come to fruition now? And it's a great clearing kick for Queanbeyan. Everything going the Whites' way now.
If you're the Vikings, man, you got to play well for the crowd now. It's all about pride. You know, finishing well, some good defense, maybe a try or two, get the crowd back into it. The game's all but lost, but you know, there's plenty to play for in your pride, in your club colours.
See, Apumi, good carry to start his outing. Bit of a messy pill there at the back. Hemman gives it to Takeda, and Cushion takes the hit and keeps going forward. Titor comes onto the ball pace, passes on to Carney. Bartholomew's is on the ball here, has to release. No, he doesn't. Rewarded with the penalty is Bartholomew's. He got the scoring started in that first half, and he's been absolutely excellent on that tight head side.
Yeah, it's good to see a big man like that have contributions this late in the game, as well as holding up that scrum.
Riley Ahern punches Queanbeyan down into the Vikings half. Can they strike the telling blow now? 16 points to the good. A try would certainly seal a back-to-back premiership for the Whites. Well up by Takeda there for Vikings, and he's forced the turnover. Henman finds Howard. And Howard. We've just got a flag up here from assistant referee Steve Peake, and they'll have a chat. Perhaps a high tackle here. Yeah, it's a high tackle from Queanbeyan, and it'll be a penalty to the Vikings.
You'd see the rain just starting to pour again as we finish this game.
A 24-8 thoughts starting to drift towards our big game. Rolls and Vikings on Bar TV. Griffin Legal John Iden Cup. It's going to be an absolute epic encounter as we move into the last 10 minutes here in the second grade grand final. Billy Carberry on, the young Colt, man of the match in the Colts grand final. Carries well. Howard puts on a bit of footwork, but he's going nowhere, and he's shut down by Pizzato. Titor. The ball somehow finds its way to the 13, and he's got some support here. His captain, Reece Griffiths, gives it to Carberry. He bumps off one, and beautiful little offload from Carberry and from Titor. The interplay was beautiful from Vikings, but just breaks down at the final end. And it's Takeda whose pass goes to ground. Tia replies for the Whites. Exton, little inside point to Jones. He's in a bit of space, gives it back to Exton and Titor. Good tackle for Queanbeyan, but Jones now for Queanbeyan. Exton having to dig for the ball, but he finds White. White carries himself. Carney, as he has been all day, over that ball. No luck this time. Woods finds Taylor down the right, and he's got a bit of spec. Can he find? It's Taylor for the try! And a bit of a spectacular finish. Is it the spectacular finish to the season for Queanbeyan? Marching towards what has been an absolute epic season for them, capped off with a premiership gold. How about the somersault finish, Eamon?
Nothing like a bit of extra flair you can just put on the end of that one. That was an excellent lead off. and really finished off well in the corner there.
As we'll see, we'll get the replay. It was actually Daniel Nath down the right-hand side. Looked like he went a bit too early, but the finish from Taylor was excellent, and the acrobatics to finish off. What a score. And that's game, set, match now. Queanbeyan, as they did last year, overpowering the Vikings to a premiership title. The rain is starting to pummel down at Viking Park. There'll be no one going anywhere with the marquee matchup. Not long to go now. Stay here with us on Bar TV, on Brumby's Facebook, for Royals and Vikings. Ahern. It looks pretty, but it's just been pushed to the right. See more Viking substitutes coming on now. Got Ben Gillespie coming on, as is, I think that's Jack Evanen, Colts fly half. Nick Marshall coming onto the park as well. A couple of guys that put in some really good performances in Colts in their grand final win. Well, it's 1 from 2 for Vikings, 1 from 2 for Queanbeyan. They've shared the spoils here in these back-to-back finals. Can the Vikings second grade leave a good taste in the mouth as they go into next year? Queanbeyan, back-to-back champions. They'll be on for 3 in a row next year. As we see, Queanbeyan marching out to their own 22. Exton finds Jones. Back row carries hard. Looking to settle things here is Exton. That man again, it's Riley Ahern. Outstanding all day. It's been just clipped on its way through. Wilson having to deal with this one. Bubbles, but it's gone back. And good feet from the fullback. He's been really good mopping up in these tough conditions today. Murray finds Titor, and he'll just boot this ball the other end of the park. Oh, what a take from Ahern. It's got to be mark of the year. And he pumps the ball the other end of the field. He's just found space with... Oh! Nick Murray. He's been one of Vikings' best, but that's a shocker.
Probably thinking a little too much and not worried about catching the ball, but that sort of spells how the game's been going so far.
He really has been one of Vikings' best all day, has Nick Murray, but that'll be one he'll want to forget, and Queanbeyan have a chance to put some more pain onto Vikings as we see Murray. Oh, just thinking of 3 jobs ahead, Eamon, eh? Thinking about what pass he's going to make, what step, right foot, left foot. Got to catch the ball first.
Where are we going after the game? Yeah.
Shorties, I'd imagine. I wouldn't be going anywhere with that Vikings club they've got.
Yeah.
Big scrum from the Whites. They're just marching on now as they have advantage coming. It's a free shot now. It's definitely not sunny out there now, Eamon.
This is real Canberra footy for you.
Nice little inside ball to Darmody. He got his name on the score sheet. Exton, been excellent at halfback. Nath, strong carry, brought down hard by Billy Carberry. And Carberry's hit again. Body on the line stuff from the young Colt. As we see that rain absolutely bucketing down now. Jones carries well down the left. He's brought down by the neck as we see the advantage coming. Pizzato has a crack down the left-hand side. Advantage coming, and Hogan will have to have a word here, I think. Must mention, we've tried not to mention it too much, but Max Ravuvu in the first half, his red card has really been the telling blow, I think, for Vikings. They were really competitive in that first half, and numbers just making the difference eventually in this second half.
You can hear the Vikings faithful becoming vocal.
I know. You can hear it down above us as Queanbeyan in front of their home fans look to seal this second grade premiership with one final try. They've got possession. He finds White. White delays his little pass to Pizzato. Gets absolutely whacked, but he takes it well and he spins out of the tackle of cushion. Jordan Cremerius lurking on this left-hand side. It's Pizzato for the line. Vikings have to release it. Slow ball now for Queanbeyan. Nath. Bit of footwork and he's whacked by Gubler. What a tackle by the Vikings open side. Vikings lying all over the ball. Exton to White. Shifts it now. Oh, big contact in midfield there from Nick Marshall. What a hit. Vikings not giving up here. As we see, there's going to be a stoppage in play here. Referee Matthew Hogan having a chat. Vikings players coming off offside. And it's going to be a yellow for that man, Nick Marshall. Well, he was one of the best players on ground in the Colts Grand Final, and he's been well worth his salt coming on here at second grade. But he'll finish this game, finish the Viking season in the bin. Down to 13 for the last minute.
Yeah, it's a real shame it had to finish like that with a bit of ill discipline, but
yeah, I think just coming up a little bit quick there, as we'll see. Queanbeyan will just add a few points here. Celebrations are starting. They know they've got the job done here. And it's going to be Tim Woods who's going to add the 3 points here. Tim Woods, experienced campaigner, perhaps maybe his last game of premiership, Premier grade footy. Not totally sure why he's kicking goal here. I can only imagine that's why, Eamon. That's a good strike by Woods as well. I mean, Riley Ahern, if he misses any more, they know they've got a backup in Tim Woods. Great moment for the lock there, who of course also got over for a great try earlier on. Vikings, can they produce something to finish this game?
great hands there into play.
Oh, and it's Bartholomew's in a bit of space. Down the right hand flank, he's still going. Vikings doing everything they can. They don't want to concede here. It's Gordon to Pizzato. He's in a bit of space. Oh, and he bumps off Carberry. What a strong carry. They're queuing up on the left hand side. Can Exton find him? Good read by Titor, but White's still on his feet. Bowled over by that set try. Oh, that's the way to finish off a season. Backs and forwards mingling together, unstoppable, and Josh White absolutely bowled over by his teammates there, and that's the way to finish. What a try. As we see White just held his feet and he's just helped over. What a moment, what a try, and what a performance for the Queanbeyan Whites. They've been absolutely outstanding from the get-go here. Who's got the kicking duties for the final? I think it's, well, you want to be a brave man to take this ball away from Jake Gordon. He probably had his sight set on this 8 months ago when the season started. He's playing for the crowd.
Toe poke.
The toe poke. Oh. Well, that's a great way to finish. An absolutely epic second grade grand final. The Queanbeyan Whites, superb, back-to-back premiership winners, absolutely worth their crown today. From the very get-go, they were just superb, outstanding. kept going forward at every point, carrying hard, backs and forwards mingling. Some of their tries, absolute outstanding work. Eamon, well worth a premiership, I think.
Absolutely, well deserved. The scoreline of 37-8 certainly dictates that. It was just all Queanbeyan today. A valiant effort by Vikings, with ending with 13 men. Just some killer blows and losing Vuvu there. It's just little moments like that can cost you, but well done to the Queanbeyan Whites on a fantastic season, a fantastic win today.
Yeah, 37-8, the final score. It was Tom Bartholomew's who got us underway, diving over for the try early in the game. That was converted by Riley Ahern, who went on to push a penalty over, which made it 10-0. Vikings got back into the game with Jack Howard making it 10-3, and then Queanbeyan turned on the style in the second half. Tim Woods getting over for a try. Tim Darmody getting over at the back of the line out, at back of the maul. And that lovely try from Jack Taylor down the right-hand side with the somersault finish. Just so many moments in this game. It was an absolute outstanding effort from Queanbeyan.
Absolutely. There's all different parts of this game, and, consistent good play by Queanbeyan got them to win today, I think.
If you could pick one out of that side, there was many. Cam Stanley, I thought, for the first while was one of the best on ground. Didn't quite finish the game. That front three, Cremarius, Gordon, Bartholomew's, absolutely superb. Tim Woods, brilliant. If you look through that entire team, everyone had their role to play.
Absolutely, yeah.
It was a real team effort, but if we were going to give it to one, I think, I don't know. Who would you give it to?
I liked when he was on the field, Josh Townsend really ran the field, ran the pack really well. But Anthony Bizzardo, I thought, had a really excellent game as well. And Jake Holland along with him.
We'll go with Jake Holland. I thought he was excellent at 12. A lot of the best things that Queanbeyan were doing were all running through him, and he gets our man of the match for the second grade grand final. Well, it's back-to-back premierships for Queanbeyan. They lost out in the Colts, but they've come back in second grade and put on an absolute stunning performance to win well here. And that's the game, and that's us. Eamon, thanks for partnering me, mate, for Colts and Seconds. We've had a great day out here. And now the build-up begins for Royals Vikings. The sun's coming out. Get down to Viking Park. You will not want to miss this one. For Bar TV, for Brumbies Rugby, I'm Ryan Murphy. Let's go to first grade. Cracking game ahead. Let's go.